So we're going to talk about the young core for a second because JJ Reddick brought this up on Old Man and the Three. JJ Reddick says, and I didn't write everything down, but this was the part where he was talking about why he's picking the Detroit Pistons young core. He says, because I think in 2 or 3 years, they will be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And then he goes on to say, JJ says, this needs to happen in order for them to reach that ceiling. And it's all dependent on Cade becoming a true number one franchise level player. And, I think he does. But do you agree with JJ Reddick that the Detroit Pistons will be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference in 2 or 3 years?
Yes, I do. I think the Pistons' time of getting back into the playoffs and winning playoff series is going to happen sooner than later. I agree with everything of what JJ Reddick said. I think, you have your core building blocks. You have Cade, you have Sadiq, you had Jaden Ivey. You're still building this organically, and I think that's the right way to do it. All you have to do is add veterans that can help you get to that point. And I think the Pistons are really close. I'm not to the point where some people are saying the Pistons are 4 or 5 years away. I don't think they're that far away. I think the Pistons are closer than people are giving them credit for.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree with you, and I agree with JJ Reddick that they're 2 or 3 years away. And I mean, they're going to be a top 3, top 4 team in the Eastern Conference, and they just have everything in place. They just need the experience and some more veterans on the roster, and they'll be right up there. I mean, I think Cade is going to dominate the Eastern Conference for a long time, and just those pieces around him, Sadiq Bey, Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Stewart, Durant, those Isaiah Livers, those guys are all going to be a huge part of it. They all blend so nicely with what Cade can do on a backcourt, and I think those guys growing in their roles and how they play alongside Cade, I think that's even more important than Cade just becoming a franchise player. Because no matter what, Cade is going to be the guy. No matter what team he's on, he's going to be that guy. But I really do think what is so dependent on the Pistons reaching to be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference is just the guys surrounding Cade, upping their game and becoming better players. I think that's more important than Cade just becoming a franchise player.
So, yeah, I mean, just from a talent standpoint, I feel like from last year's roster to going into this season, it's a hell of a lot better. You addressed a lot of needs that you didn't have last year. I mean, you addressed, the shooting guard position. You addressed having more depth in the front court. I think this team is like the ceiling should be a play-in, but hey, they could surprise us. They could, start off really hot, like they did a few years ago, and they could, be around like that 8 to 6 seed. You never know.
Yeah, I didn't think there would be a play-in team this upcoming season, but I'm starting to feel the play-in jitters, man. I really am starting to feel that for the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, I think they can do it. I mean, you kind of look at, the vets on this team. You've added more veterans. Like you have Ronnie Magruder, I believe, that's still on the roster. You have Corey Joseph. You have Nerlens Noel. You have Alec Burks. So you're going to have more veterans in that locker room, and those guys have had success in the playoffs, and I think having those veterans in the locker room can really help mold these young guys.
Yeah, I mean, Alec Burke and Nerlens Noel, 2 years ago, they played significant roles in helping the Knicks get to the playoffs. So they're definitely all about winning. They know what it takes.